Oh, stripey too. Come on in. Whoa, goodness. They'll be back, Morris. They'll be back. Tux. Oh, I don't see Tux. I do see Morris though. All kitties accounted for. Although Stripe's currently wandering. Hey! Mr. Nerdy, but only periodically show us your shirt. Hadn't worn that one in a while.
Well, it was a big pile of shirts. It's down on the bottom. I got all the way to the bottom.
Good. Yeah, I started to say Morris is over here doing his morning thing. And Stripe had wandered a bit. I just saw, right when I came out, several deer walking the property line over there. Hi, buddy. Hi, sweet boy. Good morning. I'm just coming to check you guys out. I see 2 of you. I see 3. Hi. 4. And a squirrel. Hi. Hello. That had a big meow. I was hoping he'd do it a second time. Yeah, I think he was just on the lower platform. Good boy. He was fine this morning. I know when I went to bed at midnight, he was up here on his heating pad. All was good for him. I may not know where everybody else is till it gets just a little colder, and then I'll know where they all are. They're on heating pads. But I know where he is. Stripe's back from his walkabout up the hill, and now he's having his front yard walkabout. I was really disappointed watching yesterday's video in the poor tracking with the vlogging camera, and you know, I guess it's a little lower light out here right now than I would like, and you know, I walked around the yard and everything, but there was a lot of blurry segments. I'm sorry, it was very frustrating to me as I watched it. Try to show some pretty stuff, and the camera didn't do a good job. I thought I'd show you guys the encore azaleas over here this morning. They're looking very pretty. There's 3 of them. This one probably gets a smidge more sun than the other 2. They were all planted at the same time. But they're starting to fill in nice. Can you imagine what it'll look like in 5 more years? Yeah, as I walk around the yard, I think I had said yesterday, you know, I'm getting ready to trim back the perennial. It's had time to seed out now, and this is probably one of the spots where I would start. You can really see the beautyberry here coming over the wall in all its purple glory. I think Stripe and Marty are both in this direction. I saw Stripe hop to the other side of the creek. There he is up by the driveway, which is fine. Don't usually get deliveries this time of the morning, and he's so petrified of the Amazon UPS guys that he takes off very quickly. Just getting a little view this morning. This maple tree here is beautiful crimson orange tones here pretty soon. Definitely putting the impatiens back in these 3 spots next year. Thank you, deer, for not eating them, eating other stuff instead. This maple looks like it's doing fine. Oh, there's one last gasp of the canna lily to help see the hummingbirds off for the year. That's great. This yellow flower thing self-seeds pretty good, so comes back where it was. I think it's a combination between being a perennial and coming back and not. So one of the things on the list for JB, and Dawn and I have got to get him some measurements today, is we have this metal bench frame, but the wood's all gone, and I'd like to put wood in it. I'd like to redo it and put it here so you can sit and kind of look toward the, you know, hey, look toward the bridge. And Hi, Frisky. The butterfly bush, maybe when the butterflies are out, although by then the mosquitoes are so bad that I don't usually do that. The ferns are looking so... Hi! The ferns are looking so pretty down here. These super big ferns are in this part of the yard. All that hard work we did on clearing out the woods here. Our sweet dog Blaze has laid to rest under the Sasanqua camellia here, so it would be really nice if it's got some blooms on it. The more blooms, it would look showy. Maybe one day this will come down and it will do even a little better. That holly tree's leaning pretty bad. The nice thing is if Don cut it off at the ground and hauled it that way, is it would grow me a new holly tree. It just wouldn't tower over the Sasanqua camellia. So I'll think about letting him take it out. But he's gonna have to take it out where he makes sure that it falls away from my perennial border. Goodness, you're rubbing my legs. Hi. If any of the cats in the yard ever rub my leg, the only one that does that is I missed the video of Marty in the tree, but I did hit a couple of pictures. You'll see him. He was, you know, 6-7 feet off the ground, something like that. Very cute. Ducks. Hey, buddy. Yeah, these were all volunteers. I didn't plant those in patience. They just came up in that pot. Works for me. Hey, buddy. Hi. Good morning, sweet boy. Sweet patient boy. Hi. Hello. Oh, there you go, buddy. It's worth the wait, I promise. I promise. Good morning, Gray. How are you, sweetheart? Morning, morning. There you go. There you go. So Don and I are holding off leaving for a walk for just a few minutes to watch the Psyche launch the Falcon Heavy this morning. Our friend David reminded us that it was going up, and I mean, I'm just now like having my second cup of coffee and thinking about ready to go, and it's got like 15 more minutes or something. Yeah, up there, upper left corner. So we were talking just briefly about, well, I guess it was, did you ever watch anything go to the moon while you were in school?
Never while I was in school, and that was during, you know, NASA, the moon landings. No, we never wheeled a TV. I don't know that we even had a TV in the school. When I was in high school, we had a couple TVs, but that was 75. I graduated in 75. There were a few TVs, but they were few and far between.
Right. Well, I obviously am 11 years younger than you. So in 75, I was basically entering first grade or something, kindergarten, first grade. And whenever, not those years, but when we started doing shuttle launches, I do remember sometimes us watching the shuttle launches. Yeah. They mentioned that there were kids in Florida watching the launch, and I'm sure the kids that can hear it and live and breathe, their parents work in the industry maybe and stuff, they get to watch. But I would ask, you know, Johnny and Sam if they watched the launch, if they talked about the launch, and they never did. And sometimes up at C4EE, the solar farm, I ask the kids if they know what SpaceX is, or what the, you know, it's Falcon Wing doors, just like it's Falcon 9 rockets or Falcon Heavy, and they don't know. No. So somewhere between, because I think it's the industry around space travel is really important. I think our desire to improve ourselves, get out there, build new tech, to get out there is super important. Either the schools or the parents are letting the kids down that they don't even know what SpaceX is. I mean, how can that be? Like, they're that disillusioned from media, the new, you know, I don't know what they're doing with their time, but to me, if they don't know about SpaceX, it's a problem. So I'm not saying they need to watch every launch, but this one's kind of important. Right. And the science behind it, and it's a double mission, Don said. They're going to Mars to do some observing, and they're going to an asteroid.
Right.
And
it's gonna the second stage after the payload is launched, the thing that's going to go to the metal asteroid Psyche, the second stage itself, which was the platform, is going to fly onto Mars and do a flyby Mars, and I assume is just going to be sent into the sun. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to do a return by instead of flyby.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, well, hopefully there are truly some kids having a mini science lesson about what's going on here today.
Yep.
Yeah, see, the person that likes this black cherry White Claw, now they're drinking this sunny margarita. Doesn't it look like a orange juice, sort of a straight from Florida wholesome beverage in that packaging? As I walked toward the trash can with those cans, I realized what it was is the lettering, the font is the same as Minute Maid orange juice. Don agreed.
Yeah.
Yep. So here's where they got the tree out of the way. And I guess did less than I expected them to, or wanted them to. They had the tractor down here with the big mower attachment on it, and they pushed the tree out of the way. So I guess, you know, the right-of-way, quote unquote, isn't blocked. But I kind of figured since they were down here, although I guess maybe they can't get through to the other side, that they would go across and mow it, you know, up to the neighborhood or whatever, but they didn't do that. So, but there I guess that's where they pushed the tree this way, which it came from right there. So, a lot of people walk through here. I guess it's good they got the tree down. Now, if we could just get a little footbridge across. That's the last time I'm going to mention it this month. That we need a little footbridge there. Yeah, some people say they just jump it or whatever, but, you know, I'm older and jumping it's not so much an option.
To have a little bridge there. Of course, it would have to handle the fact that it would get flooded.
Right.
Because you'd have to build a bridge from here all the way over. Like one of those bridges over on the Greenway.
Over on the Greenway. They'd have to put a Greenway level bridge there. Yeah.
If you were going to do it.
Right. To code. Safe.
Right, yeah, right. In other words, a little simple bridge would be great most of the time, but if you really wanted to make it a year-round bridge, pretty much you'd have to, you know, it would quadruple the cost.
I think I mentioned that the state fair started yesterday, and yesterday and today are going to be probably what folks would consider the nicest days of the fair weather, because next week is actually below average temps for us, and a lot of the fair activity is in the evenings when people get off work, so from 5 to
Closing.
10, I think. They do the fireworks at either 9 or 10 o'clock, the closing time. That's really the busy. I'm sure today, people taking a long weekend or something, that it'll be really busy with the weather. You know, people will look at the weather too. But, I mean, next week we've got temps during the day not getting out of the 60s and lower into the evening pretty quick. So, folks, I think they'll be trying to get in the good weather today. Don and I don't usually go because it's just so darn expensive for what you get, and we don't need all of that food. Don doesn't get fried Oreos if we go to the fair.
If I got to eat all the good stuff, I would be over there in a heartbeat, but...
Well, I don't know that's true, because it's so, again, back to the it's so darn expensive.
Let's put it this way, I would be more likely to go if I got to partake of all the outrageous foods. But what happens is when you go there, the price of those little treats are pretty pricey.
Yeah.
I'm just an ice cream guy, and I just assume to have ice cream as pretty much anything. So.
Right. Well, we usually go to the NC State Creamery,
yeah.
And it used to be the only time of the year you could get their ice cream was at the fair.
Yeah.
And it was a generous portion for a reasonable price, and we would enjoy that and walk around, and I'd take 300 pictures, and life was good. But now the creamery is across the street from Yates Mill. So if we really wanted their ice cream, we'd just go there probably.
Yeah.
As a family walking the trail, and they had just been to the Cat Cafe, and they had boba and biscotti. The Cat Cafe has really cute, well, they have these little cat head shaped cake pops from E&A Bakery. I'm not sure where that bakery is, but I know that's who provides them, and they have some really cute Halloween themed ones. So one of the places Johnny and I will be going while he's home for fall break next weekend is to the Cat Cafe. Gotta check out one of those Halloween themed cake pops because they are so photographic. I'm sure they taste good too. Johnny could tell you, but they're so photographic. So back to the fair. I mean, parking is anywhere from $10 to $25 just to park your car in a spot that you don't feel great about, but it will do. And then, you know, the ride tickets are expensive, and the
just to get in. Like,
I mean, yeah, right. Well, getting in the ticket's usually a little less than 10 if you buy it in advance online. Yeah.
You have to wait in line if you don't buy it.
I mean, it would be hard for each person going to the fair not to spend $100. So, anyway, I'm not dragging Dawn there this year, maybe next year. I do like to go and take photos. And I've taken some really cool photos there. It's all about the pictures for me. And if we can, you know, get up on like the, either the monorail, what's the thing that goes overhead?
The Skyway.
The Skyway, or get on, they have like a ski lift kind of a thing there. They also have
but it's like $10
the Ferris wheel or something. I like to get up high again for pictures. But, you know, it's an expensive date night to go there, so probably not this year. We are walking the South Park Loop. We'll make the Pokemon Go route. Seems a little quieter than usual up here today. The lawn guys aren't here. The community center has less cars. It's a little, there's worker bees out there from the church, but it's, I don't know, the playground's empty, the ball fields are empty. It's a little quieter this morning, which I'll take quiet today. But happy Friday, everyone. Johnny only has a morning class on Fridays, so I'm thinking he digs Fridays. 1 mile, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a Y, and we saw ID4 in the parking lot back at the environmental park. Such a gorgeous day. We walked around the track one time after we did the loop. The loop is like 2 tracks worth of distance. Besides, we've bent over a lot this morning. You know how some people say, you know, I ain't doing it for my health? Well, in this case, that's at least part of the reason for picking up the trash. We crisscrossed the parking lot a few times. You'd be surprised the number of socks and the number of bottles. It's kind of funny. If you need socks, you might not get a matched pair, but walking across through there several days in a row, you could have a pair. There's a gentleman over by the basketball court in the shade, near the woods line, not actually near the court, but that part of the park. And he had a tiny charcoal grill, and I saw fishing poles in his vehicle, and I think he was living out of his car. But he was just probably caught some fish and cooking him up some food. Minding his own business, not bothering anybody. I felt for him. It was a little hard to, you know, people are living like that. He could be totally happy though. Just because I wouldn't be happy if that was me doesn't mean he's not happy, I guess. He's got tools to catch food, a way to cook the food, a place to cook the food. Hopefully they won't run him off because he was really not bothering anyone. And, you know, just worry about him with it getting colder. Well, I grabbed his arm and I pulled him out of the way. I'm a mom. What can you say?
Way over here, she scared me. I almost had a heart attack.
I was closer to him than Don was. That's fair. Well, it's just another. As a baby copperhead, you see the yellow on the tail of this guy. He's really a juvenile. That's what all the copperhead babies have, that little greenish yellow tail.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you guys are seeing him good enough, so I'm getting down here a little lower.
He's about 8 inches long.
Yeah, I can't zoom in with one hand, but aren't you proud I saw him first this time?
Yeah.
Well, this is really close to that part of the trail where that other... I'm sorry if I grabbed you like you were my 6-year-old kid, but I wasn't going to let you get hurt.
Scared me to death.
Well, you scared me to death that day, too. Of course, my foot was closer.
Yeah, but that was the difference. You know, 5 to 8 feet away is one thing. 1 inch is a totally separate concept.
Yeah, here's where our friends in Australia watching laugh at us because they have all of the lethal snakes, but they never see them. And we have these, you know, sort of poisonous snakes that we're terrified of that we run into on a regular basis.
Well, every time I go crawl
to be clear, most people that get bit by copperheads, they recover just fine, but they do need medical attention, and it's a little more serious for dogs. And unfortunately, our furry friends have lots of encounters, and you basically better get to the emergency vet right away. And larger dogs in particular, but usually most dogs, if they get quick medical care, they're okay too, but it's expensive. So you want it's to be avoided. All right, so my snake traumatic stress syndrome has been heightened again.
You didn't holler snake.
Well, I grabbed your arm and I stopped you so we could assess whether it was safe to continue to put another foot down. To be clear, copperheads are not water snakes, but with the creek down there and the rabbits and the mice and the birds and all the other animals that are over here making use of the water, them being in the vicinity is not a surprise. That, and they really start to like the asphalt in this cool part of the year. Most of the people that have trouble with copperheads, I would say, are September, October, going into the first part of November. So you really got to be careful right now. Although I'm more used to, you go out at night or at dusk and they come out to get warm versus this, you know, this is twice now we've seen them in the middle of the day. So. Don's out in the garage putting some things away on his workbench, and I am going to work on the witch head. I did come back last night and add the eyes on the other side because I like things even. I didn't want to leave her with one eye, half a head. I think I'm getting ready to do the green hair. We'll see. I think these red pieces up here you're not ever going to see, and they don't matter. That's just the color this person decided to use there, and well, I had plenty of red, so it didn't matter. But let's see how far I can get on her hair. Remember, there's a little cat to build also. I'm not likely to get all of that done tonight, but finishing the hair, starting on her hat, that would be fun. It's 3:30, so I've got 90 minutes to 2 hours before cooking for dinner. I made Don deviled eggs, and there's leftover ribs, so he's got something to munch on. So I got the green hair done, and boy, that's a lot of slopes. I see this one piece has got to be pushed down. It's up a little bit. I don't know why he left this open. 2 more studs could go in there and it would be solid. But anyway, you know, you understand when you build some of these things why they don't become official builds. But I really like it. I do. There was 1 or 2 things in the instructions that needed to be corrected in my estimation. And then the back of the head required a special mud guard thing, and I just ended up texturing it as best I could by the sides because, you know, you're not going to see it in the back there anyway, and I think it looks fine. Her hair's supposed to be a bit unruly, and they wanted it to scoop down on the bottom, and I did find a couple of pieces that kind of scoop down. So, forgot to go back and do the arms. No big deal. He had warned that those kind of fell apart and were sort of hard. They were fragile, I think was the word he used. So, oh, that should be fun. And, you know, I'm still missing those 4 pieces on the back of her jacket there. But the hat, the arms and the cat, the little black cat, are what's left to do. And I think that Donna and I both agree that the face is just about as adorable as it can be. Let me get in there and make sure we stay in focus. The eyelashes on this face are just like, wow. They're black skeleton arms and claw or teeth, little black claws or teeth, so that the eyebrow kind of sticks out there extra dimensionally. So that's pretty cool.